all of it. Because first off, congrats on getting onto Amazon. Like,
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited for people to like be able to not have to do YouTube. Nothing wrong with YouTube, but I'm like, I'm not paying for premium, so I'm like getting the same ads every 5 seconds.
Yeah, and honestly, the show is so much more unhinged than it was when we had to follow. Okay, people think that like, oh, it's going on Amazon, so it's gonna taste different or feel. I mean,
Mhm.
maybe in a way. I mean, we're more free. People don't understand that with
Yeah.
a show that's as raunchy and violent and whatever else is our show, that
Hmm.
YouTube's guidelines are actually much more tight than Amazon's are. Amazon has the boys where you can climb into a penis and explode. And so like when I heard that we were going
Yeah.
onto that platform, I was like, okay, great. I know, I think when I saw that scene on the boys, the first thought in my head was, wow, we're at the right place because if they got away with that, we can get away with. And how many times does the word cunt sit on that show? We had to blurp out every time the word cunt came from my mouth, and there were some really good deliveries. So I'm glad that on Amazon we're finally going to hear everyone say cunt and a lot of other things. There's also a lot more sexual stuff that and just stuff we had to pixelate that we
Oh yeah.
are able to not have to pixelate anymore. So that'll be very nice. And also, like a few months ago, we had dinner with the folks at Amazon, and they were really,
Mhm.
really friendly and supported our show. And they just seemed like people who believe in our show and not just took it
Yeah.
because they thought people would watch it. They really do love it
Hmm.
just as much as we do. And so it feels like we moved into a very cozy hotel or home. So yeah.
A home next to a hotel, one may say. But no, and it's really good, and I'm very happy that Amazon is taking this because right now we need stories like this. Like we need kind of like the queerness, the unabashed, being yourself and not being
Yeah.
afraid. Like I feel like those are some really important kind of like messages that's in
Hmm.
Helluva Boss. Like, and it's one of those shows too that kind of like you're like, oh, fun little show about demons. Oh, it's raunchy. Okay, cool. And then it hits you like right in the chest. It hits you right in the feels. So like, for you, because I know you and Viv, work on it together. Was there for a moment where you were like, wow, this is actually like a more than just a silly little show about demons. Like this is a big thing for people.
Um, I don't know when I mean, it was a big thing for us before we really,
Hmm.
I mean, because Viv and I treated this show as a passion project. We started writing the story as one that, it really felt no different than a lot of the other shows I've started in the past. When you make a web
Hmm.
series, you really pour, and if you really care about it, you're going to pour your love into it and hope that people find it and connect with it.
Hmm.
Doing something that's emotional and comedic. I mean, Viv and I have been doing that since years before we met each other. We just have very similar storytelling sensibilities. She's very
Hmm.
much more well lubricated in the dramatic, and I'm more lubed in the
Yeah.
comedy. But we both feel like comedy and drama have a rightful place intertwined with each other, and in a way that a lot of shows and films don't intertwine those emotions. And it just comes from us. I mean, the good and the bad that these characters go through are all authentic. We're not writing stories that we don't feel we're qualified to tell. I mean, right now, Blitz is, spoiler if you haven't seen up to season two, but he's going through kind of a bit of fame. He's going through this,
Hmm.
um, he's climbing in his ranks, and it's interesting to see what how that affects him. And it very much feels like, when on YouTube, when people started recognizing me in the streets or looking up to me as some kind of inspirational figure, like that's kind of what Blitz is going through, and it's interesting. I
Hmm.
feel like, semi-qualified or pretty qualified to write how that can
Yeah.
psychologically affect someone, and how that affects their working relationships and their romantic relationships. And so I think what Blitz, I can't necessarily speak for the other writers, but when it comes to
Hmm.
crafting Blitz, I feel very qualified for the job because I feel like I know him in and out, and I know what he'd go through. I'm pretty sure the only place we differ is that he likes
Hmm.
horses and he's murderous. And I think besides that, running a small business and having a small select group of employees that you have to go through a new
Yeah.
mission every week in a different place and shoot something, that's my life. And so I feel like Yeah, I very much feel like Blitz and Viv, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of the again, the more emotional scenes in the show,
Mhm.
they come from a very personal place in her, and a lot of I mean, there's not a lot of writers. There's like five writers, six, something like that. It's a
Yeah,
small enough of us
very
to
small.
sit around a conference table and still feel lonely. So anyway, it's in it, and it just feels
Yeah.
like, and we're not just writers that work with each other. We're very close friends, and we collaborate. This is just one project of many that we work on together. And so I think that also helps the show feel authentic, is that we all kind of, we're really tight, and these stories come
Mhm.
from a very collectively personal place. Anyway, I forget what the question was, but that's a long paragraph.
And it answered it. That was it's because this show, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I hadn't seen it until after I was at San Diego Comic-Con because I have a
Hmm.
friend that's like really into both shows, and like she was like, you need to watch this. This is something you'll like. So I was like,
Oh,
okay, my flight got canceled. I was like, I'm in a hotel room by myself. Like
right.
I'll watch this. And I have not been able to shut up about it for the past like month. So it's like
Oh my gosh.
I've devoured everything. It's like especially like binging just like the first two seasons of Helluva Boss, I was like not expecting the journey that my emotions went on,
Yeah.
especially in season two with everything that happens between Stolas and Blitz. Like, and that's such an important relationship. And yours and Bryce's portrayals are just so wonderful in those characters.
Bryce. Oh my God. I actually have grown to love Bryce through the conventions. We never work with each other in the studio, but we see
Yeah.
each other every weekend. The cast, we do conventions with each other every weekend. And that's where we really get to know each other. We get to know each other over breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have drinks every week, and go and we're working next. You spend Friday through Sunday at joined at the
Yeah.
hip. We pretty much don't see each other when one of us goes to the bathroom or when we're sleeping. But that's so it's almost like semi-summer camp, because we're in a different city every weekend, like in hotels, and we're we have story we it feels like a family, but
Mhm.
unrelated to being in the studio. In the studio where we work, that's very isolated. We're by ourselves, but then at the conventions, we're very tight. And Bryce has particularly, I've grown to really like him as a person. There's certain people in our cast who are just, I mean, our cast is very authentic and they're very genuine and caring, but Bryce has a very particularly loving aura to him. He really is Stolas in real life. He just blankets you with this feeling of like, he's so talented, and he's both impressive and intimidating in that sense, because he is this powerhouse of talent, and he's so understated. He has no ego about it either, but he knows he has to know how good he is. And anyway, so yeah, I think seeing the uh, relationship between him and Blitz evolve as I get to know him in real life, it
Mhm.
makes me watch the show more, because there's my friend. I'm hearing Bryce talking, and I feel more connected to. And same with Richard,
Mhm.
and Erica and I have gotten so close. Who plays Loona?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better cast. They really are like my family, and I've gone through some like really tough times in my personal life, and they were
Mhm.
there for me. And it's and I and vice versa. Like we very much have each other's back in this very tough and overwhelming world that is Burbank and voice acting.
Yeah. Can imagine.
But anyway, I'm very lucky to have them, and furthermore, I'm very lucky to be part of a show where we can originate our own voices, and that is not a jab at the has been cast. It's a little bit of a jab, but
Not the
we
beef.
got to come up with our own voices. They had to mimic a pilot cast, but we
True.
came up, and I'm very lucky because it's very common in voice acting. You have to mimic someone else's rhythm or tone, and Viv just let us go up to the mic and just become the characters ourselves. And so
Yeah.
um yeah, anyway, she and Viv and Richard, who are directing this, are very Richard's doing all the vocal directing for each of us,
Mhm.
and the two of them are just so empowering. I mean, they're both so good at what they do, and yet when you have these newbies come in who aren't super familiar with animation, a lot of these people are Broadway folk who, we don't,
Yeah.
and I'm a YouTube folk, so we don't, they make us feel like we've been doing this for 50 years. They make us feel like we're not beginners, and in that sense, you believe it, and you're like, okay, and you become more
Yeah.
empowered behind the mic. But I will say this, season 3 was the hardest episode for me to get to. There's an episode in it. It
Mhm.
comes somewhere in the middle of the season, and I was going through just some tough stuff in my personal
Mhm.
life, and I went into the studio, and I in there was a scene that Blitz is going through that was really, really tough, and I broke down and I just started crying. And Viv didn't say it like this, but she basically was like, "Use this." Like she was like, we
Yeah.
can take a break, or we can, And I was like, you're right.
No.
I want to." And I'm so happy that I just pressed through and did it because it was the only time in my whole life I ever acted while I was crying, like really crying.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a point where you hear the words coming out seasoned with an emotion that you can't just drum up. And it felt like I
Yeah.
was surfing because I finally got this wave, and I could hear this voice coming out of me that was so authentically like traumatized. And I'm very eager
Oh
to
no.
see this episode because there's I want to see how I did. I want to because it's a voice I've never heard myself talk on
Mhm.
camera or in a recorded as. So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm very excited, and that's all to say that season three gets much more intense. There's seasons one and two are really setting up the bowling pins for what is to come in season three, and
Hmm.
I'm really happy that we are establishing this new audience with Amazon and people who might not know us on YouTube before season three even starts to drop, because I really want the biggest audience possible to enjoy what we have cooking. It's really, really good. And season two is where I really started to think like this show is like a true work of art. It's not that I didn't think that about season one, but season two was like where I really started to go like, this is something like iconic that we have here.
Hmm.
And season three even more so. I've seen I've seen clips from season three, and
Hmm.
it's just the animation, I mean, everything is just getting better and better and better and better. And season three looks even better than season two, and I feel like the actors feel more um uh what do you call it, confident, and they feel more in their
Yeah.
roles. Um and it just everything is just so much shinier in season three and dirtier and funnier and sadder and all the things that make
Oh
seasons
boy.
one and two so great. So yeah.
Oh, I cannot wait to have my heart forcibly ripped out of my chest like it was at the end of season two.
It's tough. There are moments in season two that got me pretty emotional, and I'm in the show, and it's like you kind of forget because you record it like a
Yeah.
year or almost 2 years
Yeah.
before it even comes out, and then even as a writer, when I'm done with the script, I forget about it long before we even record it, and then and then I forget about that until the episode. So we'll have watch parties sometimes as the cast, and to us, it is like watching it for the first time because we forgot about almost everything, and so it's the emotions hit us just as much as they hit the people watching it, I'm sure.
Hmm.
But yeah, anyway, I'm watching it with the animators is interesting because they'll point out everything
Ooh.
behind the shots.
Yeah.
I will recommend I should watch it once by myself before watching with the animators because they you will not hear anything. They're like, yes, this was this and this, da, da, da," and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to hear what he's saying and what's, but
It's great.
and I forget, yeah, these animators have seen this footage over and over. I mean, they're the opposite of us. Like, whereas we forget a lot of what we said, they have it memorized to a T, and they know
Yeah.
every, and we really, I think the animators are so overlooked when it comes to any project like this because a lot of the actors get, I think, too much credit when what a lot of the performance was the animator, the way the character moved and the way that so I think that the animators really make us look like better actors as well because they choreograph us stoically and they impeccably design how we move. And so anyway, I hope they get more credit, especially in this world where it's getting really hard to find work like that and with AI
Yes.
and blah blah blah
Mm.
blah blah. So yeah, animators are definitely the unsungest hero of what we do. Because
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
and you're right. And it's like the quality of this for YouTube. I remember when I started watching it, I was like, how is this like not, someplace streaming? Like, how is this just like a YouTube thing? Like the quality is just incredibly insanely good. So I am glad. And that's one thing I want to like touch on too, is that like the animators really do deserve a lot of props because there are some shots in the show that are just crazy. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I have no idea how animation works. I don't know how they're doing this. This is insane.
It's a labor. I mean, like not everyone gets every shot that they want to animate because some people, like different animators are fans of different characters, and we try to not we like I'm running shit. Like they try to assign the animators that like if someone loves Stolas, they
Yeah.
try and give them the Stolas shots, or they try and give the characters to the animators that enjoy that character. That's all to say that it's very much a labor of love. I've met a lot of a lot of the staff of the show, and it's made by people who love it and are proud of it. It's not made by people who are clocking into a job and clock out. I mean, these are people that come to our parties, and I get to have snacks and drink with them, and like we all get to watch the show collectively together and enjoy it. And I'm just so happy that the show is being made by people who care. It's like having parents who love you, you know. It's like it really is. I mean, it's like it's nice too as an actor or a writer going in, doing your thing and leaving and knowing it's going to be in perfect
Yeah.
hands. And so yeah, very lucky to have the crew that we do and the animators we do. I mean, they're the best in the biz, in my opinion. I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. I mean, they are. They're so good.
Hmm.
And like the
Hmm.
way that the characters move, they're like made with so much care and like I was just looking at an episode recently, and like Blitz is in a different position every time he talks, and they have to
Every
re
time.
yeah, and whereas like Peter Griffin, it's like this, like that, and then he's like this, and it's like the
Yeah.
same like
It's so
image they use.
static.
Right, it's very
But no,
static
yeah, it's like Blitz is just like everywhere all the
everywhere, and you're
time.
thinking like, and he's so pointy, and he's so like to keep him on model too. There's so many things you can draw his horns too big, you could make his hands too small, like so
Yeah.
for them to have him so consistently proportioned and then have him doing all this crazy shit, it's like that's that's I don't know how you do that. It's like watching someone fly a
Mm-mm.
rocket or something. So anyway, I'm done sucking their dicks, but they're really really talented.
No, they're incredibly
Mhm.
talented. I literally could talk about this all day. But I do,
Mhm.
before we go, I just want to say, how excited are you for people to see Mission Zero?
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so it's you not everyone gets to recreate a pilot after establishing a show that's a bit different from their original concept. So we're
Yeah.
lucky that we get to pull in a new audience while showcasing our current animation quality, showcasing how the actors have gotten to know the characters. I mean, it's just we're stepping in with the show as it is now, and the characters
Mhm.
as they are, as people know them. The dialogue is so much better. I mean, after the pilot, we kind of went back and said, "Oh, we should have done this. Oh, we shouldn't have done that. We should have done that." And we kind of had all these second thoughts, and now we get
Yeah.
to implement all of that into this new one. So it is the pilot we always kind of wish we had. Not to say that we're not proud of the old. That
Yeah.
pilot is what put everything into motion, and that's how I met Viv and so on and so forth. But the show has evolved since then, and I think it's nice to step forward with a new audience with this at the forefront. And so hopefully they enjoy it. Hopefully our goal with Mission Zero is to pull in an entirely new crowd who have never even heard of us and say, these are our characters, this is what they do, and welcome to our world. And so I really hope it welcomes people warmly. you know?
Yeah, I think it will. I think people are really going to enjoy it because it fits more in line with like the show itself now. So they'll be like, okay, good, here we go. We have this, and then we just go straight into that. Like you said, the original pilot still good, just very tonally different. So
Very
I'm glad that
tonally
this got to
different.
be, yeah,
Yeah.
like very, very different. But thank you
Mhm.
so much for
Thank
your time.
you.
I cannot wait for people to be able to see it, and I can't. I'm making my roommate watch it right now, so
Ah,
I'll probably force her to watch some more episodes tonight.